Birds, as I said, are really, really important to fiddler crabs. And one of the things we noticed was that if animals are scared by a bird and they're in their burrows to escape the bird, they will come back up. And it's usually about 20 seconds or so. They will come back to the surface and be active again, because now the bird most of the time has gone away. Well, what happens? Birds prey on fiddler crabs by flying over, landing on the beach, and then running at them. Well, what happens if you make bird sounds on the beach? Well, what's the sound a bird makes? Well, we went out and measured the footprints of male grackles, how big they were, and how far apart they were spaced. And then we made this device, which we put on the end of a bamboo pole. And we would scare crabs into the ground and then measure how long it took them to come out. And then we would do it again with different crabs, and then we'd run a bird over the sand right in front of the burrow. And this made bird footprint sounds like this, boom, 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 boom. And we'd do it at about, so the mass of the object and weight was about the same as a bird, and the rate at which a bird would run. And then we recorded how long it took the crabs to come out, and it took them 3 times as long. So instead of 20 seconds or so, they were at least 60 and sometimes as much as 90 seconds. But it's interesting because crabs don't have ears. So how do they hear these things? They can't hear airborne sound. If you go to the beach, especially if you're on the East Coast, and you sit there and you see a fiddler crab, you can turn up your radio, you can yell and scream at the crab, and they will not hear you. So how did they know this thing ran over the surface of the sand? Well, it turns out they can detect earthquakes, little tiny earthquakes. And those are seismic signals. That's the vibrations in the sand that are made when something touches it. If you are sitting at your desk, put your hand on one part of the desk and take your knuckles on the other and wrap your knuckles on the desk. You will be able to feel those vibrations in your hand. You're sensing the vibrations in your hand. Well, the crabs do this by little receptors they have in their legs, and as they're standing and the sand moves, their body doesn't move as much, and they can get stretch information from those receptors, and they're very specialized for picking up sound. So they're listening to what's happening on the surface through stretch receptors in their legs, not with their ears, because they don't have any. So for fiddler crabs, as adults, predation is really, really important. How you choose mates, how often you get onto the surface, and how you conduct yourself. Because, as I said, crabs are basically bird food.